Hi, this is Giovanni Lombardi with Professorit.com. Welcome to the beginner guitar section. So let's get straight to business here. What we have here to my left is a guitar box or a so-called chord grid. I would like to explain to you the function of this visual data here. Well, it is very important. What it is a fraction of the guitar fretboard. Imagine to have a piece of the fretboard flipped upside down and placed on the board. That's what it is. So you need to be familiar with this type of visual language, because virtually any songbook out there will, if it has music for guitar, if it has the guitar part on it, will be written using this type of visual language. So let's go through the details now. The bottom line here is called the low E, or the sixth string of the guitar, which is this. Okay? And then we have the second line from the bottom up is actually the fifth string, or the A string. Here it is. And then the fourth line is representing the fourth string, of course, or the D string right here. Third line is representing the G string, or the third string. The second line is representing the B string, or the second string. The top line is the high E string, or the first string. Okay, so when you count the strings of your guitar, remember, this is not your first string, but your sixth string, okay? So sixth, fifth, fourth, third, second, and first, or low E, A, D, G, B, high E. Also, another important part of this visual language we need to become familiar with is this. Those are Roman numbers, and they are actually used to refer to the fretboard. So with number 1, we are referring to fret number 1. Number 2, fret number 2. Number 3, fret number 3. So again, this is called a guitar box or a chord grid, and that is going to become your best friend for the next 10, 12 weeks perhaps. Okay, you guys, so in order for me to talk about guitar playing technique, we need to learn the first chord. That will give me a chance actually to go through different aspects of guitar playing. This is the first chord, is the chord of the day, and let's talk about, first of all, the chord signature. What you see here is a C followed by an MAJ. MAJ is the abbreviation for major, and C is the note of the musical alphabet. So we're going to learn today C major, the very first chord, which sounds like this. Those dots you see on the board are actually referring to your left hand fingers. Okay, on the guitar playing program, though the thumb will play a very important role, the thumb itself has no number. So the very first finger we're gonna use is the index. So index will be finger number 1, the middle finger is finger number 2, the ring finger is finger number 3, the pinky is finger number 4. So now you have to place your left hand fingers or right hand fingers. It doesn't change the numeric order of it if you're left-handed. You're gonna have to place your fingers on the fretboard. So in order to play this chord, what we need to do is this. We need to put the first finger, your index, on the second string, first fret. That's why it's so important for you to be familiar with this type of visual language. Okay, so let's do that so we can talk about the technique, okay? Here it is. First finger goes on the second string, first fret. Your middle finger goes on the fourth string, second fret. Your ring finger goes on the sixth string, third fret. Your pinky goes on the fifth string, 3rd fret. And this is the correct shape. Remember to arch your fingers 90 degrees down to the strings. The way to do it is the key for acquiring the correct technique. So both of your shoulders should be pretty much in balance. You need to bend your elbow, and your left hand wrist needs to be curved out this way. You can see it, right? So not this way, but this way, which is going to force your thumb to be behind the fretboard. Now, it is okay if you have your thumb also, according to what instrument you're playing, slightly curved around the fretboard, but more or less you need to have your thumb behind the fretboard this way. By doing so, your hand will form some sort of a spider legs shape, okay? So the fingers needs to go 90 degrees down to the strings, perpendicularly down to the strings. And the type of pressure or strength you need to apply to the strings will be described probably by this analogy. So the thumb is actually pushing the fretboard away from your chest. The fingers are doing the exact opposite. They are pushing the fretboard against your chest. So two opposite forces going this way. That is necessary, otherwise you'll get this kind of choked sound, okay? Which will be normal because you're just starting right now. So frustration is part of the game, but don't drop the class yet. We haven't even started, okay? So enough strength in your hand, that is the key. That will come with time and practice. So in order to play this chord, we're gonna place the first finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret, like this. 2nd finger, your middle finger, on the 4th string, 2nd fret, right there. Your ring finger goes all the way up to the 6th string, and the pinky on the 3rd fret. And the pinky will go on the 5th string, 3rd fret. And here is your first chord, C major. So we just learned the very first chord, C major. Now we're going to learn the second one. The second chord we're going to learn today is A minor. M-I-N is the abbreviation for minor, okay? So put your first finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret. The 2nd finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Your 3rd finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And when you strum your strings, strum from the 5th string down, like this. A minor. Okay? Now on to the 3rd chord of the day. The 3rd chord of the day is D minor. So go ahead and put your first finger on the 1st string, 1st fret. 2nd finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret. 3rd finger, 2nd string, 3rd fret. Now, I want to talk to you about those new elements we see on the board. This X is referring to your right hand. Whenever you see an X placed next to a string on a guitar box, it means not to strum that string. So you're going to strum from the 5th string down, as is shown on the picture here. So here it is. This is our D minor. And now on to the 4th chord of the day. The 4th chord of the day is G7. First finger on the 1st string, 1st fret. 2nd finger, 5th string, 2nd fret. 3rd finger, 6th string, 3rd fret. And you can just go ahead and strum the entire set of strings. Here it is. Now, the goal is to put those 4 chords together to perform a little song, I guess. And that is going to give me a chance to explain to you how to face the very first big challenge for every beginner's guitar player. So just stick with me and I'll be right back with you. Okay, you guys, so now what should we do with these 4 chords? Well, we need to learn these 4 chords very well so we can make a little song out of it. But this is the challenge. you're probably gonna try to play the first chord and it will sound like this. Okay, that's normal. The reason to get this choked sound is because your fingers are not pressing hard enough. And that actually is giving me a chance to point to your attention this. This is how you spot the guitar players from yards away. The difference in the length of the nails. My left hand has very short nails. My right hand, on the other hand, has longer nails, so I can play the guitar finger picking style. But for this particular program, we're just gonna use the pick, and I will talk to you about the pick in a second. So, you need to trim your nails on your left hand or on your right hand if you're left-handed, okay? What happens is that the nail will actually hit the wood of the fretboard and will prevent you from applying the sufficient amount of strength, and you'll get this sound, okay? So, go ahead and do that if you need to, and then what you need to do with these 4 chords, in order to make a little song out of it, you need to actually memorize, visually memorize the shape. So I want to show you a great exercise, which will help you a lot, okay? Let's analyze for a second the very first 2 chord shapes we're going to learn today, C major and A minor. Well, on C major, your first finger is on the 2nd string, 1st fret. On A minor, your first finger stays right there. So when you change from one chord to the next one, you don't need to move the first finger. That is going to help you a lot. And the reason why is because we're going to use the metronome. Here it is. The metronome is a very important device for every musician and will give you the basic beat. Okay, like in this case, it's giving me a count of 4, and what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna strum each chord 4 times, and then I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the progression. So I will strum C major 4 times, then A minor 4 times, then D minor 4 times, then G7 4 times, and then back to C major. I'm gonna loop this progression. Here is an example, okay? Here we go, 2, 3 and 4 and to A minor, to D minor, to G7th, back to C major, A minor, D minor, G7, back to C major, and so on. So, in order for you to become so fluent when you play, what you need to do is really to, as I said before, to memorize those chord shapes. So this type of exercise, changing one chord shape to the next one, paying attention to this important detail, is any fingers that I can keep in the same position? Well, yes, you can. Between C major and A minor, your first finger can stay on the 2nd string. So you can even put the metronome back on and give yourself a count of 4. We don't need to do that right now, we'll just count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and change. See, if you can do this without even looking at the fretboard, that means that you have your chord shapes memorized. And if you have the chord shapes memorized, you'll be able to play without stopping in between chords. So if you do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go like, oh, let me see, okay, A minor, right there you just lost the beat. So I will stress this point throughout the entire course. The key is not to stop. Even if your chord sounds like this, try to keep going, okay? Because with time, they will start sounding like this. I'll promise you that. But the promise I need to hear from you guys is that you're gonna practice. Your homework is this. have the chord shapes memorized and be able to change between chords on the beat. That is the key. Even if the chords sound bad, keep it going, okay? With time, you will gain strength and dexterity to your hand. And that is the key, very important. So this is Giovanni Lombardi with Professorate.com. I'll see you to the next segment. Thank you.